All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go over some systems practice. You should look at this assignment, systems practice 2, and just kind of follow along on your paper so you can get the feel for it too. These are not meant to be new things, but we're just practicing solving systems of equations by using substitution or using elimination. We're going to start by looking at number 3 here, and when you're trying to solve these systems, you need to stop, take a moment before you dive in, and think about what you're going to do. Come up with a plan, and our plans usually involve substitution or elimination. Substitution is where you take one equation and plug it in the other, and elimination is when you add or subtract the equations and one of your variables disappears. So look at this one and think, should you substitute or eliminate? Come up with an answer. Hopefully you thought of substitute because this equation says y equals, which means this is the same thing as y, and I can put it in the y of the other equation. So that's the substitution property. So I'm going to rewrite my first equation exactly how I have it, but when I get to the y part, instead of putting y, I'm going to put parenthesis x minus 3. Because our second statement says that y is x minus 3. So I can replace y with x minus 3. Now I'm going to finish off rewriting my first equation here. Now that I've done this, the benefit is my equation only has one kind of variable instead of two kinds. And since there's only one kind of variable, I can finish solving. And so you need to simplify this side down and then get your variable all by itself. So let's take this -7 here. And we're going to distribute it in. That's how you get rid of the parentheses. You distribute the number in front times both. The -3x hangs out front. Now we got -7 times x is -7x. And -7 times -3 is positive 21. And it still equals -9. Look on the left side, see what combines. These two combine, we get -10x. And then there's plus 21 still there, and we still got the -9. Let's subtract the 21 to get our x closer to being by itself. We got -10x equals -30. And now I need to divide by -10, divide by -10, and I got x is 3. Nice. We got our x value. We are not done, but we got halfway through. And once you have one of the variables figured out, you can take it and plug it into either equation in the x spot. We can put it here, or we can put it up here. I recommend putting it in the bottom one because it's got less going on. It's just y is x minus 3. I'm going to replace the x with parenthesis 3. It has the -3 still. So that just became this. There's nothing in front of the 3 to times by, so we can drop our parentheses. We got 3 minus 3, so y is 0. And we're still not quite done. We do have to write the point where these two lines meet. The solution to the system is the coordinates of x comma y. It's the point where these two lines would meet. And it's a 3, 0. So, ta-da, we did it. We solved a system of equations by substitution. Let's jump to another one. We're going to jump to 8. So on 8, we have this little setup here. Again, I want you to look at the equation and think, okay, would it be easier to substitute or would it be easier to go for elimination? Look at it, think about it, come up with an answer. All right, hopefully you thought that this would be good for elimination because it is. If I take my equation and I add down my columns, I'm going to eliminate. I do want to show you what happens when we subtract so you can see that you don't want to do this. If you do -x minus -2x, you're going to get positive x. -5y minus 5y is going to give you -10y. And -6 minus 18 is going to give you -24. This didn't eliminate either of our variables, so we don't want to subtract on this. I just wanted to show you that. Hopefully you didn't just write it all down blindly and you're actually listening. But yeah, you don't want to subtract because you're not going to eliminate anything. So we're going to add instead down our columns. -x plus -2x gives you -3x. And then -5y plus 5y gives you 0y. I'm going to make a little note there. And then negative 6 plus 18 gives me 12. All right, 0y is just 0, and so it's like plus 0, which doesn't do anything. And so I'm just going to not write anything there. But be aware that we did do negative 5y plus 5y gives you 0. Next step is just finish solving for x. There's only one thing to do, which is divide by negative 3, and you get negative 4. Nice. We got x equals negative 4. Unfortunately, we're not done. You do have to get the x value and the y value where these two lines meet. It always comes in xy pair. So we're going to take our x and we can put it into either equation. We can put it in the top one. We can put it in the bottom one. Either's fine. You'll get the same answer. I kind of like the top one just because it has there's less of a coefficient on that x part. And it does have a negative, but I'll just put it in the top one. So I'm going to rewrite this top equation with the x replaced with negative 4. So I got negative x, so I put parentheses what x is, which is negative 4. And then minus 5y equals negative 6. So I'm just rewriting that entire first equation with the x replaced. So now I'm going to simplify. Right side is still negative 6. Left side, we got negative of negative 4, which is negative times negative, which is positive 4. We got this. We need to solve for y. Let's have you finish this up. Pause the video. Go ahead and finish solving for y and see if you can get to the end there. All right, hopefully you subtracted 4 on both sides to get negative 5y, and you get negative 10 on the right side. Now we're going to divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5, and we got y is 2. Awesome. We got our two variables. We got x is negative 4, y is 2. We're still not done, though. We had to put these together as a point, and it makes the point negative 4, 2. Ta-da! We got it. Awesome. So there's our second example. We're going to do one more example, and it's actually number 6. So 6 is interesting. I want you to give it a shot and see what you can do. Oh, sorry, I wasn't probably not clear. I want you to pause the video and solve it. See if you can do it all by yourself. So I'm hoping if you're watching the video right, you have actually tried this problem out. There's actually multiple paths to try and get to the end. You can go for substitution. If you just take this and subtract it over, you get y is negative 7 minus 5x, and you can take this part and substitute it in here, in the other equation. But chances are, most people don't think to do that because you got to move things around. It's not ready for substitution. You have to move things. But you can shoot for elimination. But the issue is you got 5 and 7, and then 1 and 3, and those don't match. So we can't just add our equations or subtract our equations. But what you can do is take an equation and times by a number to make the x's or the y's match. I am unfamiliar with an integer you could times 5 by to get 7, but I am familiar with something you could times 1 by to get 3, and that is 3. So if I take my entire first equation and times by 3, I could then shoot for elimination. You have to do 3 times everything. Don't forget to do 3 times everything. So we get 15x plus 3y equals negative 21. Nice. And from here, I notice that my y's are matching now, and so I can eliminate. And you have to think, do you want to add or do you want to subtract? What is going to get rid of the y's? And that is going to be subtraction, right? 3 minus 3 gives you 0, not 3 plus 3. And so I'm going to subtract everywhere in my equation. You do have to do the same operation for all 3 columns. Negative 7x minus 15 is going to give me negative 22x. And then 3y minus 3y gives me 0y. And on the right side, 1 minus negative 21 gives you positive 22. And now I have in my equation that it's just x, and then the 22 on the right side. So I can divide by what's in front of my x, which is negative 22. And I get x is negative 1. Hooray! This is not all, though. Hopefully you did more than this in your own solution. You do have to find your y value. I can take this negative 1 and put it into either equation. Any of them is fine. I particularly like the first one because I see that there's just a y here, and on this one there's a 3y. And so the second one takes a little bit more work to solve for y. So I'm going to go for the first one, and I'm going to write that out. So I'm going to draw another line here, make this as messy as possible. We got 5. And I'm going to replace x with what it's equal to, which is -1. And I got plus y equals -7. I'm going to simplify my left side a little bit. 5 times -1 is -5. I got plus y equals -7. And now I want to finish solving for y. The opposite of a -5 is a +5. So I'm going to add 5, add 5. And now I got y is -2. Awesome. We got our x value, we got our y value. We need to put them together, and you get the point. -1, -2. Ta-da! So hopefully by looking at these 3 examples here, we did 1/4 of the assignment already. You get a feel for, solving systems of equations again. The point of this is to keep practicing. So keep practicing, check your answers with solutions, and make sure you're getting these figured out. Good luck.